Welcome to Auntie Chats and Tarot. Okay, here we go. Let's get into your message here. Thank you for joining me. Thank you to all who have supported this channel. I really appreciate it. Remember, not everything's going to resonate here, so take what does. Leave the rest for somebody else. It may resonate later. And if you're interested in my artwork, there's some more information about that on the community tab. Here we go. What's the message for you today? Judgment in the reverse. Remember to stand in confidence regarding who you are. King of Cups. If someone's saying you're too emotional or you need to toughen up or have thicker skin, if that's not you, then the message here is, use your good wisdom with this. There may be not any need to argue about this. Just let it roll off your back. It's just someone's opinion of you. It isn't the true you. Stay in your own flow. The Tower is out here. This could be someone talking to you whose opinion you very much value. And so this has hurt your feelings in a way. Let's find out about more here. Let's find out a little bit more here. King of Pentacles in the reverse. Yeah, this one is somebody who is very aggressive and it's worked for them and they think that that's the style you need to take, but they're almost abusive about how they're talking to you about this change. 10 of Wands in the reverse and the Hangman. You're being asked to take a look at this yourself. How do you want to show up? It isn't their choice, it's yours. Take a time out. See maybe from their perspective where they're coming from, how this has worked for them. And if you feel like you can talk to them about that and say, I certainly understand, something along these lines. I certainly understand where you're coming from because that's a style that's worked for you. But that's not a style for me. If you feel like they're going to be mature enough to take that in and handle that information and, have a healthy dialogue with you. If not, maybe you just say thank you for your input and then put it to rest. But yeah, let's see. It's something about coming out of the burdens of this. So I think a lot of this is just coming out of mentally having this affect you. Get to a point where you just say to yourself, that's their opinion, but I'm running the show here. I'm running my own life. I'm running my own show. 10 of Swords, yeah, and put an end to, and it'll be easier said than done, but start working on their opinion of you not being so important, or particularly in this area. It's just somebody's opinion. I keep hearing, just keep telling yourself this. It's just someone's opinion. 4 of Cups, yeah, because you're like, this person hasn't ever seen me anyway. They've never truthfully taken the time to actually see me and see what I'm all about. So their opinion maybe means even less knowing that. 2 of Pentacles, but your mind has been on this for some time, for many years. Maybe this is a formidable person in your life, okay? Spirit's saying, let this go. Be more comfortable with, that's just an opinion of theirs. You can still like them. You can still admire them in a variety of ways. But on this level, on this topic, it's yours. This is your territory. This is how you feel about it. 2 of Swords. Know what to block here. And this is also a milestone for you to come to this conclusion. Very healthy milestone. I can still like this person, but they're way off the mark with regards to me. And that's because of maybe they haven't really paid that much attention. Maybe there's someone who has a lot of advice, but they think about themselves. So have they really paid attention to who you want to show up as or how you have been showing up? Put things into perspective there. 4 of Wands, yeah. Queen of Wands. I feel like you really want to keep good relations here. This is probably family based or someone who feels like family. And yeah, there's lack here, 5 of Pentacles, but also there's happiness. It's just how you manage the lack. There's lack in that, like I said, for those of you who resonate with this, there's someone who is very self-absorbed. And so they think their answer is always the one that's for everybody. But they've never really taken time to really learn what other people are about. And certainly not you. but make peace with this so you can be happy with who you are. And also, there's an element here of, like, they think you're too something, fill in the blank. Not serious enough, too silly, too goofy, too flamboyant, too charismatic, too in people's faces, too energetic, too outgoing, something like that, you know. I just hear from Spirit, use your good brain here. You've got a good brain, you've got a lot of good wisdom, and they don't have all the answers. And they certainly don't have all the answers for themselves or anybody else that they're really not focusing in on enough to even know the core of that person. Something about your third eye here, use your third eye, or you've used your third eye a lot to help you through the ups and downs of this person. The ups and downs of this interaction with this person. 9 of Pentacles in the reverse. This person doesn't see your vision of where you're going. They don't even understand you. Again, I hear they have not taken the time to even know what you're about, know the core of you. So they're not going to be helpful in the regards of the goals that you're setting and where you want to go. So that also helps you put things into perspective. The Chariot. And worrying about this only lessens your self-confidence, your strong will towards what you're trying to pursue here. It slows up the energy for you. Keep on trucking. Keep on trucking here. Put this into perspective, this relationship. Put this person into perspective, you know. Like I said, they may speak as though they've got all the answers and they've had all this experience. And yes, I feel like they do have a lot of experience. And it's what they've learned that's worked for them. But maybe it's just simply saying, yeah, you've learned what's worked for you. But that is a different style than what I'm coming to the table with, or who I am, what I'm going after, what I find important, these types of things. King of Cups in the reverse. Wait, is that right? Oh, excuse me. 9 of Cups in the reverse. Yeah, they want you to shut off. You're being too emotional. That's for a lot of you. Remember when I said you're too something, fill in the blank? A lot of you, it's this person feels like you're too emotional. You need thicker skin. They don't see your goals. They don't understand your goals. So how can they possibly give you advice to how to get to them? No. You know, your goals have to do with being in another sort of social setting with people that are supportive and coming out of, you know, maybe being alone or being more in hermit mode. 7 of Swords out here now. Let's find out about that. There's an illusion here or a lie that maybe you buy into, and they certainly do, that they have the answers for you. You know your base. You know how to build from there. The 4 of Pentacles, the 9 of Wands. And anything that's making you tired with regards to building this base, obviously, is a setback and not helping you along the way. And keep that in mind. Any kind of energy that makes you, I often say, pay attention to what your body's saying when you're around somebody. You know, this person completely can, not always, but can drain you. And especially the topics that they choose. So keep those interactions to a minimum because you know they physically drain you. Can still have a relationship with this person. Yeah, you just need to keep in mind like some sort of regenerative energy that you have to keep in mind. Yeah, and also if this person makes you feel so that you want to hold back, either from interacting with them or moving forward with what you have in mind for your life. 4 of Swords in the reverse. Yeah, I see we have you coming out of a hermit mode and being enlightened, but spending some time here trying to figure out, yeah, how much you're going to allow this energy in and what the boundaries look like. And certainly in the past, you felt like they have held you back, their energy. But I feel like you're gaining some truth there and you're figuring out a good strategy too. And it's not you to be competitive. It's just not you. But I feel it is for them. And so there has always been kind of a butting heads there because you're like, this is not my style. Or maybe you were young and you didn't even know how to express that, but now you do. And now, I feel like you're coming at this in a lot more healthy way with some of these conversations, or even just mentally, how you deal with this now. They think you don't have high enough expectations for self or your goals. But I really feel like the hermiting away that you did and the hangman energy of looking at situations from a variety of different angles, their angle, your angle, finding some healthy way to have boundaries here, but still have this person in your life and know what triggers you here and know when you feel those triggers, how to shut that down by, maybe you just have a phrase that you say, that sounds very interesting. And then you walk away or, I don't know. You've got something here as a strategy that works to kind of nullify any kind of dialogues you don't want to have and any kind of fueling the fire here, which may be something that they try and do too. That strategy that you've come up with has something to do with your third eye and enlightenment, and it's going to work for you. You're going to see it work for you if it hasn't already. Before, I think you were a little bit afraid of this person's toxicity. They can certainly be toxic, and we did see that they can be abusive in nature. And it felt like when you were younger that they just didn't even want good things for you. Because that's the way they came across. Like, you will never succeed if you continue to be who you are. Or something along those lines that you've heard and the absurdity of that, or to tell anybody that. So again, keep this all in perspective. Of course, there's not an ounce of truth in a statement like that. And it's just absurd and it's in poor taste to be saying something like that. But it has worried you in the past, and I feel like that is how you felt. Like, this person is very toxic and they're not in my corner, or I don't find that they're very helpful for me regarding what I want to achieve. Yeah, in a lot of regards, when they act like this, they can very much be a leader and very successful in the workplace. But when they act like this, which is something you see maybe behind the scenes, they are very much not a leader. They have taken that leadership role on anything that's good there in a professional manner, let's say, for example, and when they turn it on its head and then speak in a more private setting or a personal setting, which I feel is how you deal with them, they have no leadership backing them. No style, no good thinking, no wisdom in the way that they speak. Yeah. So this has caused you to really invest in yourself and be your own cheerleader and be your own support and be your own nurturer. But I feel like, it's teaching you how to deal with these energies, and that will be very helpful for you as you move forward. And then, you'll also be able to recognize those energies and steer clear of them, if this is a choice and it's not family, let's say, and ultimately bring in the energies that do help you and do nurture you, so you can kind of shift the overall umbrella that's around you energy-wise. Yeah, this person is under some sort of false impression that they're some sort of mentor. I don't think that they're a mentor. I mean, maybe they're a mentor to people in the workforce that have their same sort of goals and achievements in mind. But I think as a whole, and certainly for you, they have not been a mentor. And you just got to the point where you're like, for a lot of you, you still want to have a relationship with this person, but you've put it into perspective where you reject this kind of dialogue ever happening again. Yeah. Because you're the true emperor. You're the true leader. So you walk away from anything that's false. One moment, please. Thanks for your patience through the pause. Yeah, this is definitely like outdated thinking here by this person, or was never on target with regards to you in the first place. This is ego-based leadership, bleh, and which is not really leadership. And, abuse of power. 2 here. Yeah, you've just had enough of it and walking away. Yeah. And this has been a long, slow journey of like continually this person breaking your heart. But I do feel like you're in a transformative type of phase and handling the injustices here. That's really interesting because we see the toxicity again. And they might be saying something along the lines of, you're toxic when you leap in another direction that isn't a direction they've approved, or, remember, a lot of ego going on here. Or that they think is good for you, then they might gaslight you and say you're acting very toxic. Just try and keep this all in perspective. I know that it's not easy, but you have really good instincts here, and you have dealt with this person, I think, since you were very small. So you can, you may not have seen it as much when you were smaller, but you have the strength now to really lean into your instincts here, your good intuition, and make this work for you. Yeah, I feel like you do have a really good strategy that's going to turn out. And whatever you're leaping towards, I feel like, because it's authentically you, this could go very well for you. Let's grab a charm. The elephant, yeah. The elephant to me is always Lord Ganesh energy, and that's just busting through the barriers. And certainly this person has built up barriers or been a barrier or has the energy that makes you feel like there's barriers surrounding you, but you just plow right through it. And plow right through it, I'm hearing, with your too, whatever it is. You're too much charm, you're too much emotion. You just plow right through with all that too, fill in the blank. Yeah. Style, vavoom, something out there. You just plow right through because that's you. So that's the formula that's going to work, is you. That's for all of us. The formula that works is our authentic self. We may not think that. We may actually get messages we feel are from the universe saying this isn't going to work. But if you really pay attention, there may be setbacks like there are in anything. But when you're authentically showing up, good things happen. Regenerate. And we have talked about that. So that is your botanical here. Regenerate. Morel. Let's grab one oracle and close it up. Something fated in love. Oh, that's great. All right. Yeah, you may think this is a slippery slope with this person, but I think you're on to bigger and better things. It's just a way of how you're going to handle this in the future if you want this person in your life, or how you're going to handle it if you don't. And it just feels like a good side note here is something is fated in love coming your way. Do we want any more info on that? If some of you have been asking about that. Or maybe this person has gotten in the way of love for you before. I see gold digger out here, but I feel like that energy is this person who says, they kind of treat you like nobody would be interested in you. Obviously, they're after your money, which is highly insulting, but we did talk about the ego here and the lack of self-awareness in this person and what they're saying. So give it time on this love. Everything in divine timing, let things flow, and patience. Just a few more months, good things to come to those who wait. For those of you asking about love, a little bit more information there. Let's just see if the cards are done. Divorce, yeah. And this person could be very divorced. Very bitter because they are divorced. Is that something that rings true here? Or, are they saying this will happen to you because they've experienced a lot of breakups? Remember that they are very, their advice is very self-centered base. So you've concluded that it has very little to do with you. And that's part of the perspective. I hope this has been helpful. If it has, please do like, share, subscribe, comment. It helps the channel, helps me reach other people that would benefit from hearing this message. And if you are so inclined, please do utilize the link below for Buy Me a Coffee. Until next time, let's remember who we are and let's remember our self-worth. Thanks for joining me.